nice in this world or never belong. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, not merely survive.
So, but there were times I used to call him Daddy-O, with a little humor. He didn't like it that much, but later on, he started calling me Daddy-O. He said, "Listen, Daddy-O." And he always talked with his hands shaped like a gun. Yeah, he would always talk this way when he wanted to stress something. Always, never raise his voice, never sweat. He had low blood pressure, that's why. Never sweat, and he would talk like this, usually with the left hand. And he'd have a cigarette, and all those years, never smoked. But he'd have a cigarette, he'd take one from your pack, put it in the ashtray, put it in his mouth, never light it. So the trademark was, do you know Jimmy Knapp? What's one of his traits? He puts a cigarette in his mouth, never lights it. Especially when they came out with the filter cigarettes, he used to buy them. In Creasy's restaurant, that cigarette fell on the floor. The lady that was sitting there with her husband that had a problem, she bends down and picks up the cigarette, and my father said, "Oh, don't worry about it, I'll get a new one, I'll bite on." She said, "No!" She put it in a napkin. She saved it till today, whoever she is. She wanted to save it as a memorabilia from Jimmy Knapp because my father, when she left, said, "She's probably an agent. She wants my fingerprints."
or later on, DNA. You never know.
Yeah.
But, you know, you showed a lot of rage through your drinking as an adult. What about as a child? Was there any rage that you showed as a child?
Yeah. Well, when you say a child, how old?
Adolescents, 10, 12, 14 years old.
Yeah. I was considered a mama's boy in grammar school because my mother was always there fighting for me against the nuns. I went to Catholic grammar school. Then later on, I went to public school. I went to 8 grammar schools because my mother kept taking me out of there because this is what happened. The kids used to say, "Oh, you're a mama's boy. Your mother's always here for you," and I beat them up. So I learned how to fight opposite from what fighters say how they learned how to fight because I was called a mama's boy, so I'd fight them. It happened when I worked that captain over who became an inspector in Union City, New Jersey, who tried to shake me down.
That's my next question. That's great.
So that's what happened. When I worked him over, he tried to shake me down for $500 a week at the Club Ragdoll. I had Jimmy Roselli working for me, and guys like I had Danny DeVito and Joe Pesci, guys like that. They were entertainers then. Joe Pesci was a singer in a quartet. He worked for me at the Ragdoll too. I had ex-fighters working for me as bartenders. I had 6 bartenders, no food, a dance floor in the back, and 72 bar stools around it, and I had topless go-go girls too at the time. And I had to pay off for that because you couldn't show topless in those days. But then I had entertainment like Jimmy Roselli singing Malavemina and Ustacha Regina May and stuff like that. Well, this cop comes in, this captain, he's to shake me down. He says, "Your father's gone." I said, "What do you mean my father's gone?" I know he's on a lam, but I'm not going to tell this guy that. He said, "It's been 2 weeks, I haven't seen him, and I don't get an envelope. You're going to start paying me." I know my father told me, never pay anybody off. We take care of those things for you. So I told the cop, I didn't want to give up that my father, where he's at, he's on a lam. Let him think that because there was a killing in the neighborhood. And whenever there was serious things like that, my father would go on a lam. Not that he was guilty of it, so he doesn't get questioned until they find who it was, and then he would come back. So now I tell the guy, meet me at the Capri Club about 6 blocks up. I don't want my guys, my crew members see me giving you a dime, you Irish bastard, I called him. He was Irish. Not that I hate the Irish. I made love to Irish girls, so how could I hate them? Well, anyway, I went to the parking lot with one of my crew members, and they used to call me a good puncher. I had a blackjack that was flat and a black leather, cover with black leather, and inside the black leather was lead. And I had a strap around, and I would go in my pocket, take it out, and slap the guy at the side of the head and knock him out. I got that from a detective. That's what the detectives in those days used to use. That's the blackjack they would use. So now, When I got in the parking lot, I got out of the car. My crew member was there. That cop showed up alone. He had a piece on him. As soon as I went over, I said, I got the envelope in my pocket. I reached out, bang! My crew member took his gun.
Now, this cop was a captain.
He was a captain. After that, he got promoted to inspector, by the way, because he lived after that. But for some reason or other, he got promoted. I'll tell you what happened. So I go back to the Club Ragdoll, and I had an office underneath, a hidden office that I used to have my romance at and private sit-downs at. So now somebody gave that up because here come the squad cars, here comes the shotguns. They come down, and to get into that office underneath in the basement, you had to go through the hat check room and lift up the trap door and go down the steps. Sometimes that door was left open on purpose to throw somebody down there. But anyway, they came down after me. They locked me up. They put me in jail. No bail. And who comes into jailhouse? My mother. In Union City, New Jersey jailhouse. And here comes my mother with chicken soup. Homemade chicken soup. To give to me while I'm in my cell.
A true Italian mother.
Yeah, and she paid that sergeant off a $100 bill so she could come in the back with a folding chair and sit in front of my cell. They couldn't open my cell because that cop was dying in jail, in the hospital, you know. And she's giving me the chicken soup. The other prisoner yelled, "Look at that! He works over a cop." The captain of the police department and his mommy brings him chicken soup. My mother got up off her chair and she said, "I also not only have the folding chair and your chicken soup, the sergeant gave me the keys to open it. I'll let him out and he'll do to you what he did to the sergeant if you don't shut up." That was my mother.
Whether I'm right or whether I'm
If you like the Tony Knapp interviews, you will have to read his book, My Father, My Don. There is much more information than what was in the interview, and I am sure, like me, you won't want to put the book down. So to find out how to purchase this amazing true story, just go to Tony's website at www.myfathermydon.com.
I want to live, not merely survive.
Segment 9 will not disappoint you. Tony talks about a reflection on his life, a man named Tony Rio, and saving the best for last, the brutal incident at the college his daughter was attending. You won't want to miss this episode, and I promise you, you will be shocked at what Tony did. So I hope you're not squeamish. See you for the last episode of Tony Knapp, My Father, My Don.
Prize, a world of success is waiting for me if I heed